Welcome to the Panic Button, everyone. I'm Nina. So last night, Trump had his State of the Union address. Whoever was behind the scenes who helped him write this speech really knew what they were doing. Let's react to a video about it.
Trump's State of the Union was genius, as it basically was a test for the left. Is your hatred of Trump stronger than your love for Americans? And they failed that test for 90 minutes straight.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
As basically every single Democrat on the left refused to stand or even clap. To which Trump quickly called them out.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. And enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens in many...
Whoever was deciding where the camera went was genius. Because anytime they brought up something where a specific Democrat affected laws or bills on the subject, they panned right to that person. They did the same thing with Sarah McBride, when he was talking about the children being transitioned and it being hidden from their parents in schools. They cut right to him. I thought that was freaking beautiful. But this right here, it just shows you so clear as day who the Democrats stand for, and it is not the American people. Because if they did, they would stand up. This was the beauty about this speech, was that he slyly exposed them for the hypocrites and America haters that they are completely. He knew exactly what he was doing. Or the writer of his speech knew exactly what they were doing. Writers.
Cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people.
As those two congresswomen time and time again show us, not only do they refuse to represent Americans, they seem to despise anybody that does. As conservatives eventually drowned out their chance.
What is also,
USA.
hold up. What is also beautiful about this is it shows the American people how much they're filled with hatred. Like just pure hate. Like, look at how mad they are, just foaming at the mouth and screaming. Look at Tim McBride over here, like sourpuss. It's like, oh, so mad. Just vile, evil people with hidden agendas that go against the will of the American people. It was just a beautiful way to expose them. I just loved it so much.
But then it appears she chants KKK.
There you go.
Nobody seems
There you go.
to hate
That just proves the point that they are not for America. They see America as this horrific country, just a white nationalist KKK country. But if that's the case, then why do they want so many illegals coming to this country, coming to this white nationalist KKK country? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, the hypocrisy is immense within the Democratic Party. I know that the Republicans, they have their own set of hypocrisies. But the Democrats, it is just full-blown infested with just a vile hatred of the country, a vile hatred of white Americans, Christianity, a vile hatred of law and order, of protecting our borders, just a vile hatred of Trump. I mean, if you think about it, what message do they have to stand on? Nothing but I hate Trump. They don't offer Americans anything because they hate them. Obviously, USA, KKK. So they hate Americans. Proof is in the pudding. It's right here. They don't have a voice within their party, really, that speaks to the American people. The only voices they have within the party speaks for people who aren't Americans, or if they are Americans, criminals, or like any sort of radical ideology. They are for the trans thing, transitioning children, men and women's sports, and in their bathrooms and locker rooms. Everything, it's just so far left that majority of American people, we can't get on board with this. And this is coming from someone who voted for Biden in 2020. In 4 years, I went from voting for Biden to voting for Trump. How do you think that happened? A lesbian, myself, should be voting for people on the left. But it's very, very hard to want to vote for people that show a hatred towards the American people. I mean, I've just seen so much from their side, and it's just a clusterfuck. It's just a mess. They don't have a message. They don't have any promises that they put forth to the American people. They don't follow through with. It didn't even take me 4 years to turn on them. It took way less than that. And I used to watch a lot of CNN. I used to watch a lot of The View. I used to watch even Hassan, not a lot, but a little bit. And within that time, just watching how they interacted with people that disagreed with them, just that right there turned me completely against them. And that's not even including all the other things that I just began to despise about them. So, I mean, I don't know how they're going to win in 2028. They don't really have anyone who is a rational-minded person on their side. I mean, even when you think they have someone who is rational-minded, who has some logical opinions and things they want to do for the country, even then they still hold radical thinking. And I just can't get on. I can't get on board with it. I mean, you got two sides, and you got to pick the lesser of two evils. Who's going to do more towards keeping you safe, giving you a little bit of hope for the future? They don't do that for me anymore. They lost it. The promises that Biden made in 2020, he didn't fulfill any of them. The reason why I voted for him, those promises, they didn't make it through. And so, this is where I'm at now. Good old Democrats really know how to alienate people from their side.
America, more than the people that travel all the way around the globe to come here, claim their home country is superior in every way, but we need to admit unlimited amounts of people from their country seeking asylum. But if we say, we're proud of this country, then we're the Klan. Their logic only sounds stupid because it is stupid. So it wasn't the only time Trump called out the left for not standing for America.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. No one will ever forget.
I think that something that people also like about Trump is the fact that he's brutally honest. I mean, yeah, he overblows things in his speaking. He could be quite hyperbolic, be very extreme in his talking, blow things out of proportion when it comes to certain things. He stretches the truth. But the thing is that the Democrats believe that the people who voted for him believe everything he says and take it at face value. But the thing is that we know
expression of terror.
The thing is that we know how he speaks. We know that he makes things to be bigger than they are, like the best this in the world, or we did this and it's better than any other country has done it. Things like that. Like we know that he does these things. We're completely aware. But still, that's not enough to push us away from the right. You know what I mean? But what they do really pushes us away from them. And I'm not even a Republican. I just see more logic coming from the right. And when it comes down to it, if I'm in a place where my life is in danger and I have two people to run to save me, it ain't going to be a Democrat. It's not going to be someone on the left. I'm going to go running towards the person who is conservative or who's on the right, because at least with them, I know that my attacker isn't an American citizen. They're still going to protect me. And I cannot say the same. I would not trust a Democrat at all. 1,000% I would not trust them to have my back in any sort of situation where my life depended on it, or my livelihood depended on it.
Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. Mrs. Zaretsky, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand?
As their hypocrisy is sickening, the party that wears Ukrainian flags refusing to stand for a Ukrainian woman who was murdered, proving once again the left has absolutely zero virtues other than everything Trump stands for is evil, therefore they'll represent anything opposite of him, up to and including the murder of innocent immigrant woman coming home from work, as they won't stand for that, but will stand for raising taxes.
All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
It's literally brain rot at this point, as Trump is basically baiting them with, here's a popular take that Americans love, let's see if they're stupid enough to go against it. As the left's favorite Native American was angry that Trump hasn't said anything about childcare, but to my understanding, he did.
The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness.
And look how they pointed that camera right at her. They know who the hypocrites are. How is it that she manages to multiply her wealth since coming into a political position? How was she able to go from like $100,000 a year or however much it was to tens of millions? Corruption. They all think the same? Did they learn from each other? America has always been very, very corrupt. But this just points out the corruption. How dare you try to expose me for the crook I am? How dare you? Don't you know I love my home country? Not America. She doesn't love America. She loves her home country, yet she refuses to go back to her home country. Why? Because she could steal and make millions in America. It's kind of funny, isn't it? How they hate America, but they don't hate American money. Go figure.
Are the norm, not the exception.
Now that's crazy work for the cameraman to cut to Omar when talking about piracy. But
Yeah.
remember, Nick Shirley found massive amounts of fraud in Minnesota, with several alleged million-dollar childcare facilities in her community. Many of them has since been closed down, but mysteriously, not a single story has come out about Minnesotans crying over the loss of childcare. It's almost like they weren't actually serving anybody, it was just fraudulent activity that Trump has since ended, as he's cutting wasteful spending in USAID, ending fraudulent spending in several states, and lowering tax.
This is the thing I've noticed about Democrats and Republicans, this vast difference, is that with Republicans, they want what's best for all legal citizens of America, regardless if they voted for them or not. But with the Democrats, they don't want what's good for everybody. They only want what's good for their side. It's been evident and very clear with how they speak about people who voted for Trump, how they speak about their side. It's very rotten. It's very rotten. They don't really care about anyone that doesn't agree with them. They actually hate them. So much so that they don't even denounce the shooters of Charlie Kirk or the people who tried to assassinate Trump or illegals who murdered or attacked United States citizens. They don't denounce any of them. Very, 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 very few Democrats will actually denounce those people, but most will stay silent because it goes against their radical, lunatic belief system.
For American citizens, lessening the burden on American families, all while Democrat politicians show us their true colors, being angry over all of this, as Trump went more into border security.
We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Blaming Democrats for the crisis.
Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. There were murders, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen.
As hosting angel families, or the families of those victims, has been a focus of his.
These are the angel families that we love, that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored, and I've seen it. And they got up and spoke, and the media literally just turned off the cameras. They didn't want to hear them. That was my first glimpse as to what was happening. These are sick people.
But somehow CNN tries to denigrate them.
We're actually getting a little preview of kind of the theme of his address later today.
Look at this panel. What do you notice about this panel? We have a very diverse panel of women. No men, and the only white woman is fat. Do you think this is intentionally done, or are these the people that they have left, aside from like soy boys? No, I'm not saying that these women are not intelligent. I'm saying that the Democrats, they think the American people are stupid, because it shouldn't matter what color or gender or size someone is. If you're speaking about things I care about, I could give a crap what you look like. As long as you're a sane person with good points, that's all that should matter. You know what it is? It's like optics over ideas. We're not going to give you the best information. We're not going to give you the best critiques. We're just going to go about this in a we hate Trump in the right stance. And because you're stupid, the ideas don't matter as much as how the panel looks. Because we know that as followers of ours, you care more about how someone looks than what's coming out of their mouth. It's a very eye-opening thing for people to see when it comes to the Democrats and what they think of their constituents.
As that trash analyst should be immediately fired, where CNN is obviously going to criticize everything Trump, but to collaterally attack the families of victims because you don't like border laws is the epitome of why the left is losing the average everyday American, as even the Democrats attending were smart enough to cheer for Medal of Honor recipients. But the idiots at CNN couldn't help themselves.
But he utilized almost like these game show type.
She's not coming from an unbiased, logical perspective. She's coming at it from a I hate Trump and everything he does perspective. And that's not only bad faith, but it's not rational. You can't run a country, let alone a state, with the perspective of anything the right does is bad. Because you are not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the forest for the trees. You're just seeing it from one tunnel vision angle. And that does such a disservice to not only your news company, but it would do an entire disservice to the American people and the country. And I think more and more people are kind of getting sick of it. We're kind of getting sick of just, it's the same shit. Over and over and over and over and over again. Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Everything. Like, you already know what they're going to say before they say it. We're never like surprised or taken aback by an opinion they have, because we already know what's going to come out of their mouth before they've even thought it. What are you going to do? You know, you can't make these people change. They have a script that they're sticking to. But people are getting tired of it. It's getting so old. It's been getting old. Someone either has to take charge and make a complete revamp of the Democratic Party and kick out or distance themselves from people with more radical ideologies. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the left and the Democrats have gone so far left that they're beyond saving. I think the only thing that will save them is nothing. And someone is probably going to come through and be like, hey, we got this new party. It's not crazy like the left. It's not going to be so extreme as some of the views on the right. And I think that's going to weasel its way in and completely damage whatever is left of the Democratic Party. And because the Democrats, they are not willing to say they are not against certain things that majority of the American people are against. They always take the 20% and the 80-20 issues, or the 10% and the 90-10 issues. They always take the most extreme side. Because really, it's all they have left. It's the only people who will vote for them are people who are extreme in their beliefs and in their actions and their views, and it's going to be it for them.
Being presented.
American soldiers that literally left pieces of themselves behind on battlefields on behalf of defending America, getting recognized for their heroism, or as CNN sees it, a game show type moment. It should be easy to say, hey, That was a nice gesture Trump did, only if you could put politics aside for a millisecond to simply respect Americans. But they don't like Trump, therefore they don't like Americans, and that's become very apparent. Even when Trump brought out USA's gold medal hockey team to recognize them for their improbable win.
The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Which at least some of the Democrats stood and cheered for, but the garbage reaction at MSDNC couldn't help themselves but hate it.
They're Olympic athletes. They should not be being used as political props, though, and frankly, allow themselves to be used as political props.
Getting a White House visit after winning a championship is basically tradition. I didn't care when the Dodgers visited Biden after winning the ring, but somehow now the left loses their minds when they went back for Trump. And this is basically only propagated by the media, as the New York Times will fawn over the American that decided to represent China at the Olympics, but loses their mind over Americans that love America. It's almost like the common theme we're saying is, there's no virtues or consistency in their thinking. No. It's just about bringing down America, from refusing to stand for American citizens, to downplaying Medal of Honor recipients, up to pride in your country is only permissible if it's China. But literally everything Trump brought up was a trap for Democrats.
Why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason.
Yep.
They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John.
Refusing to clap for voter ID was expected, even though 80% of Americans, regardless of party, want it. But it just reminds and drives home the imagery of who the left actually represents, and it's not us.
Yeah, I wonder if the left actually thinks about what they're saying before they say it. Not wanting voter ID is so radical. You have to have ID to buy alcohol, but not to vote. You have to have ID to shovel snow in New York, but not to vote. And Mom Donnie will say things like, well, how do we need a social security number in order to cut the check? So if it's racist to ask for ID, and you're saying that people who don't have IDs are too dumb to get them, then you're inquiring only white people to shovel snow because they're only the smart ones that have ID. I mean, that's what they're pretty much saying. It's racist to ask for ID to vote, but not to shovel snow and to pay you for shoveling snow. This is the problem. This is another problem that they have, is they're so inconsistent. It's so easy to see through it. Anything that they say is just bullshit on top of more bullshit.
Hypocrisy.
And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Wants him to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a social security card.
And it's not an exaggeration, Mayor Mamdani actually required it. And when the blizzard hit NYC, they desperately needed more assistance, as residents got blocked in on their streets. Public transportation was canceled without warning, and even when the city arrived to plow the streets, they plowed into vehicles instead. As the great socialism experiment of New York City is already failing, 2 months in, but every single Democrat will applaud Mamdani as a future of their party, meanwhile screaming and shouting, screeching and pouting at all the positive statements at Trump's State of the Union, proving they would prefer that Americans suffer over giving Trump a win, no matter how insignificant or significant it is. But tragically, a lot of their base is too stupid to even notice.
College kids are telling us Trump's State of the Union didn't go so well. The only problem? It's tomorrow. Rate Trump's State of the Union speech 1 out of 10. 1's the worst, 10's the best. Negatives. What about the State of the Union last night? 1 to 10.
It was like a 1 or 2, and it was all over the place.
How did Trump do at the State of the Union?
Of course. Ask a dude who thinks he's a chick. Colleges costs tens of thousands of dollars. They're going to put you in debt unless you have rich parents, which a lot of these college kids do. So if they're so smart, then how do they not know when the State of the Union address is? If they're so smart, then why are they just parroting whatever the party wants them to parrot instead of thinking for themselves? How can you be smart if you're not thinking for yourself? You're just thinking you're thinking for yourself while parroting someone else's opinions. You're not very smart. You're just a sheep in college kids' clothing. It doesn't make you intelligent. It doesn't make you a free thinker or an intelligent thinker. You can't. You can't be smart and just listen and smile and nod. That's not a form of intelligence. That's a form of blind complacency, a form of blindly following without ever questioning. You know, the smartest people usually question things. Either they want to know more or they want to see what's beneath the veneer. And if you're just willing to, okay, yeah, I'll say this because you believe it and I believe that you're smart, so I'll go with you. That's stupidity. That's absolute retardation to the fullest extent. And these are supposed to be smart people. I wouldn't trust them with anything. I wouldn't trust them with my garbage, let alone to think for American people. And of course, these people, they want to eventually be in power one day. And they think they're really going to do something for the American people because they're the good guys. But in order to be the good guy, you got to understand where you stand on a lot of things and why you stand for those things. You can't just say, I stand for these things because these people stand for these things. And I put my faith in them. You have to truly understand. You have to be able to withstand brutal questioning on something you believe in order for it to prove to other people that that's truly what you stand for. I mean, Charlie Kirk did that. And even though I don't agree with like the whole religious stuff that he did, he still was able to withstand a lot of questioning about his beliefs and explain why he believes in those things. These people can't do that. They'll just get mad and run off because they've been babied their whole lives that they can't handle any sort of discomfort, anything that makes them uncomfortable. And what makes them uncomfortable? Having to answer questions they don't have an answer for because they've never used their brain to think about why they stand for the things they stand for. They're stupid people.
It's one thing to plead ignorance, admitting that you're apolitical, but a lot of these college idiots find it more important to pledge allegiance to their political party than actually be aware of what's actually happening. So if you appreciate my concise...
Anyway, that is the video. That's what happened. There's a lot more clips out there that you can go check out, but like and subscribe to this channel. Join our memberships to keep the channel going, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.